Hi, everybody, and welcome to Des and Lauren. We're going to be speaking about a so-called relief that's coming to South African consumers.
And it says that we are cash strapped, which most of the people in the country are. Most of the people in the country depend on government for grants. In fact, about 60% of the South African population. So I don't know exactly who Business Tech is speaking to here, but you can find a link to the article in the description below, as well as in the first comment where they say huge relief for cash strapped South Africans. And I wonder what this huge relief actually means.
Yes, and how it's going to translate down to the consumer. Financially stretched South African consumers are likely to see some relief in the coming months, with food inflation expected to ease by the end of the year.
So now this is some relief. It's gone from huge relief to some relief. And it says with food inflation expected to ease by the end of the year. So it's all, this headline is translating into a dud at the moment, because now if the inflation doesn't ease, you're not going to get this relief, some relief. The big, huge relief is gone.
It's like false hope. It's like the media sees, oh, we're putting out a lot of negative stuff. We need to insert something that sounds positive.
But I see nothing positive here. Inflation in South Africa has been steadily declining over the last few months, with consumer price inflation CPI dropping from 6.3% in May to 5.4% in June. Do you think that the shops are going to transfer any relief to you, the consumer? What has history told us? You know, I always say, look at the evidence.
Doesn't happen.
No,
Ever.
it never happens. So if anything better happens in the economy, who profits? The large corporations. I mean, they keep on smoking you. It's the small guys, the small businesses that compete with each other that have to drop their prices. And then price fixing is always, you know, in the back of my mind when you see how many of these large companies have actually colluded with each other to keep the prices high and inflated.
Yeah, so life just continues to be difficult for all South Africans. And it's interesting to see how tolerant we are and how much we just take it. It says here that food inflation, which has been one of the main contributors to the high levels of inflation in the country, also dropped from 11.9% in May to 11% in June.
0.9% drop. Whoopee ki. Yeah, people, I'm very worried when they are trying to prop people up, make them feel better so that they can just keep on consuming. What I'm going to tell you is save as much as you can. Change your life. Sell things if you have to. Make big adjustments, because what is about to come, post my video, the 2-year lull. I will do another video, a follow-up, maybe we can do it together, on what you can expect when the global elites are planning the absolute flippin' last destruction of this country, collapsing the government so that they can send in their saviors. You know, they need to do this to bring Agenda 2030 to our shores in all its fullness. You know, in the Western Cape, the DA is doing a good job of rolling out all the agenda points, but the ANC government maybe not as much, and they're behind.
Yeah, and so that basically means more suffering until the agenda is implemented. So
Exactly.
we have to strengthen ourselves, get out of debt if you can, do what you can to get out of debt. I think that's the first step.
We need to counteract this. A lot of people say there is no hope for the country. It's absolute nonsense.
Yeah.
You know, hope is dependent on what you create and the efforts that you put in. There's a lot of hope for South Africa. If I look at the rest of the world, they're in serious dire straits. South Africa has real hope, especially the southern part of Africa. If the world is at war with each other, what better place to be than in South Africa?
So I think ultimately, I mean, the solution we propose is for you each to strengthen yourselves and prepare for government and economic collapse. Because even if it doesn't happen, you'll be far stronger for preparing for it anyway. And
You'll be more free.
You'll be free. And that's our philosophy, to be as free as possible. And to be as free as possible means to be as independent of government and corporate control as possible. It's a real mindset change. And it's what will ensure that the citizens of South Africa will keep the government untyrannical. And as long as we continue living the way we have been living, we will always have some kind of tyrannical government over us. It might not be the current ruling party, the current ruling party can be replaced by a whole host of other parties. As
Many,
long as
many
our
others.
mindset is the way it currently is, that government must XYZ, we will always be in this position. But if we create a life for ourselves, and it might mean making big life changes for you, then if you recreate that for yourself, then if enough citizens do that, we'll never have tyranny over us ever again.
And many of the members on this channel have, out of their own choice, made huge changes in their lives. And they are grateful for it. We get this awesome feedback from people, and we don't tell people how to do it. People go and do it in their own way. We just give people the ideas, the concepts, and then people run with it themselves. And it's amazing what people can achieve in 2 to 3 years. Since we started the drive, when we knew that the global control plan is in full swing, I never could have predicted it. I didn't expect it, but it happened. So people, our freedom is under threat and under attack. And when you get good news like this, and you can go and look at this article, read all the waffling that happens there, all to make you feel better when there is no relief really in sight with regards to consumers. And we should stop being consumerist. That is the main thing we define ourselves with. We should be South African citizens first.
Not SA consumers.
Not SA consumers.
That's exactly what we are.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Currently, with our current actions and lifestyle, it's hard to escape it. I acknowledge that it's hard to escape it.
Very tough.
And especially if you live in a metro, and especially if you have a 9 to 5 kind of job, it's very hard. But little steps together will end up in big results.
Well, get started. Start somewhere. I think that's the main message. And many people on this channel have done that, and they've started that with the simple things, the 5 things you need for survival. Invest in those things. That's
important to note. Maybe we should cover this separately.
Yeah.
But water, the order of 5 needs of survival is water, food, energy, shelter, water, food, shelter, energy, and something to keep you sane. Everyone is spending their last cents on all kinds of solar power and nonsense. Maybe you spoke about that yesterday.
I did.
But water, food, and shelter should come first. If you don't own your own piece of land, preferably outside of a metro, you shouldn't be buying solar power and all that nonsense. And water and food comes first before shelter even, because you can live under a bridge if you have to, but you need to be able to drink clean water and wash yourself and eat food. So that's the priority. And I'm frustrated that shops are funneling money out of poor and struggling South Africans because of load shedding, when we should be focusing on water, food, and shelter first.
Loans given for people to put up solar. People are going into debt. And you shouldn't do this. With the actions I've taken, read between the lines, people. At this stage, what you should be doing is become as energy independent as you can. That means that you do water, food, and shelter first. Energy comes fourth.
Very important to note the difference.
Yes. So once you've taken care of the first 3, then you can do energy. We should do a separate video on that. Absolutely. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Please remember to like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not yet, and watch our past videos that we've put out. The channel has had a huge boost of late. We want to thank you for your efforts in that.
Yes, and did you say this already? Join the Telegram channel
as
well.
No, I haven't.
Please join the Telegram channel. That's also where we'll put information on workshops, of which are starting this coming weekend. It's around the corner.
Yes, the workshop starting the last 4, the package of 4 workshops, level 2. So you can look forward to that. So on Telegram, look out for those announcements, as well as in the community tab here on YouTube. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.